Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team. Veterinarian Dr. Debbie White, dog trainer Alan Kabel, groomer Joey Villani, communicator Joy Turner, and here are your hosts, Al Abrams and Judy Francis.
Well, welcome, my friend. We are coming up on a milestone here. This is, show 699? Coming up on show 700, which actually means our 600th show. Yeah. We've done 600 shows over 12 years, and we are still getting brand new listeners. We got a bunch of people calling this morning and saying that they've never heard Animal Radio before. They're glad that there's something like this on the radio. Well, welcome, finally. Tell your friends about it. Let me introduce you to the crew over here. We have Dr. Debbie. She answers your vet medical questions. Also, dog trainer Alan Kabel, who you have some pretty well-behaved dogs. I got to say, whenever we go out, my dogs are always yapping, making noise. Your dogs always seem so well-behaved.
Yes, my dogs are happy and well-adjusted, and your dogs are neurotic like you.
My dogs pee.
Our animals reflect our owners, so Joey pees a lot.
Yes, I pee a lot, so my
dogs
animals
mimic the behavior.
Dogfather Joey Villani, of course, from Animal Planet's Dogs 101 and Groomer Has It, and, of course, the pinnacle of his career on Animal Radio. And he'll answer your grooming questions today. Also, animal communicator Joy Turner joins us on Skype every week. She can bridge the gap between you and your pet. It could be your childhood pet. It could be a pet that's no longer alive. She has powers which I wouldn't even claim to think that I might have. But she can talk to any animal, anywhere, anytime. But there are occasions that animals will not want to talk to you. Is that correct?
Actually, very, very rarely. They may not want to answer certain questions that their people ask them. Mm-hmm. But even that's typically rare. Over my entire life, and I've been doing this my whole life, there's only been a handful of dogs that have not wanted to talk.
I remember one occasion when somebody called in and wanted to know if their wife was fooling around. Wanted the dog to tell you whether or not their wife was fooling around.
Someone was coming to the house while the husband was gone.
The dog didn't want to speak in that particular case, as I remember.
Exactly, and it's not so much that that dog wouldn't talk to us, but it needed to feel like it was being loyal to everyone and not just one.
Sure. Didn't want to be a tattletale.
Tattle.
I think that dog would have talked with a piece of beef jerky in front of his face. Is she cheating?
I would have talked with a beef jerky in front of my face, so I can only imagine the dog.
Hal's able to talk to sticks of butter. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Hey, it's something I really don't brag about because people think it's funny, but when you hear what Butter has to say, you take it a little more seriously.
He's the butter whisperer.
You know what Butter says?
Spread me.
Oh.
You owe me a Pepsi.
All right.
Well, let's head to the phones right now, in fact. 1-866-405-8405 to speak to any one of these Dream Team members. And while Judy's screening calls right there, let's check in with Stacy Cohn.
So this pygmy goat walks into a bar. In Montana, no less. You know, that's where they serve roadkill. Now, you can actually eat off the ground in Montana. If a deer's been killed or something, they'll scoop it up for you. But that's not what this is about. This is about a goat that walked into a bar, this story coming up. I'll tell you all about it. This little goat made his getaway, and where was he going to run? To that first bar that had a bar stool with his name on it. I'll tell you all the details coming up on Animal Radio News.
Okay. That's interesting.
I don't know if it'll top a Schnauzer joke.
No, nobody laughed at the Schnauzer joke.
There were millions of people in their cars laughing at that. We got calls all last week from people saying they love that Schnauzer joke.
See, I liked it. You guys, the tough audience here, let me tell you. You guys just looked at me.
They're brutal.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too.
A Sacramento couple said they were shocked and confused when their dog received a bill from Verizon online. Steve Finelli and Sean Donovan said their Lhasa Apso named Andy Finelli received a notice in the mail from a collections agency about a bill totaling $142.34. Verizon said the bill was meant for a man named Andy Finelli who lives on the other side of the country. Owner Donovan said, just because there's an Andy Finelli back east doesn't mean you send a letter to Andy Finelli in California. AFNI Collections Agency said the confusion may have resulted from the fact that Andy Finelli, the dog, has his own American Express card, which Donovan obtained when it was offered to family members. Donovan said she often takes her girlfriends out to lunch on Andy, the dog. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio.
Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team. Veterinarian Dr. Debbie White, dog trainer Alan Kabel, groomer Joey Villani, communicator Joy Turner, and here are your hosts, Al Abrams and Judy Francis.
Now, Alan, is it correct today you're starting a new feature on Animal Radio, piquing Dr. Debbie's interest? Yes. What is it?
Yes.
What's it called?
My new feature is get Dr. Debbie excited. That's what it's called.
Wow. Good thing this is radio.
Several interpretations of that.
Well, see, Dr. Debbie is very, very interested in and gets very excited about gross things from around the world. So I will be searching, me and my team of researchers, will be every day probing the world, looking underneath the underbelly of the world for topics and stories that pique Dr. Debbie's excitement.
Hear that, Guido? He's got a job for you.
Probing and underbelly and exciting Dr. Debbie, all words I never thought I would hear.
But only in a gross way. Only in a gross way.
Okay.
That's very exciting. That's coming up in today's show. There's a reason to stick around alone, just for that. Also today, Victoria Stilwell from, what's her show?
It's Me or the Dog.
It's Me or the Dog, something like that. She's going to kill me for not remembering her show. Also, Joey Herrick will be joining us. He, of course, is the top dog over at Dick Van Patten's Natural Balance. Used to be on the John Davidson show. He used to be the music director on the John Davidson show, and he met
years ago.
Dick Van Patten.
That's how they met.
Not only just a great food company, but they do fun things every year. They always have Guinness World Record floats at the New Year's Rose Parade. This year they have a brand new television show.
Hey, I tell you, if I didn't work here, I wouldn't mind working.
That's where you'd be.
That's where I'd be. Yeah, they're very pet friendly.
Also on the show today, we're going to be talking to a guy who practices his veterinary medicine online, over the internet, until Texas shut him down, saying that he shouldn't be doing that. We'll talk to him and find out what the whole deal is about that coming up in just a few minutes right here on Animal Radio. Hi, Christy. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for taking my call.
What's going on?
I have a dilemma. I have a Min Pin / Chihuahua we got from the shelter about 5 years ago. He has a doggy door outside of the bathroom. He goes every time. But when it rains, he's terrified. He will pee and poo, whatever, right outside the doggy door. So when I'm thinking, okay, I'll take him outside and I'm going to go on a walk, I put little umbrellas over him. I have little doggy, things, booties. I have my umbrella over him, even my coat. And I'm sure my neighbors are thinking, here's this crazy lady crouched down with like a coat. They're like, oh my God, who's this person? I have tried everything. And the thing is, he's terrorized, and I don't want to jerk him or punish him when he does the wrong thing, but I want to get to the underlying problem. It's worse because when, let's say, I take him on a walk, there's sprinklers that a neighbor has put out, and there's wet pavement. He will stop in his tracks, and I have to lift him to go to a dry place. I know it seems ridiculous. He is so terrified, and I'm not going to jerk him, across the street or anything else. He's already terrified about the whole thing, which I don't know the underlying reason for that, but I feel sorry for him, and all he does is wait until I go in another room. He pees right by the doggy door, never, ever, anywhere in the house. I don't know what to do. I've tried all these different things, and I'm completely out of ideas.
You're a really smart lady, and it's really good what you said about not wanting to punish your dog. Do you have a place where you can watch the rain, where the rain won't fall, like an overhang or a little patio with a roof area?
No, not really.
All right, well, then you know what you can do? I'll tell you what. You're going to start by creating really good positive associations for rain. And the way to start is, because your dog's so terrified, the next time it rains, you're going to put your dog on a leash, you're going to walk over to the front door, and you're going to stand. You're not going to say anything. Don't talk. Just put your dog on a leash, open the front door, and stand there and watch the rain together. Don't move, don't talk. And every couple of minutes, just go, good girl, good dog, and give her a treat. Okay? And you're going to do that. You're going to do that for a while. Put these words in your mind. Consistency, patience, positivity. Plant those in your mind, because that's what you're going to have to do. And slowly but surely, as your dog starts to calm and associate rain with, hey, I'm getting a treat when it rains, you're going to go and take your dog for a short walk in the rain. No umbrellas, no booties, no big, how to do. It's going to be very matter of fact. Or you might start doing it after it rains to increase the association. Wait till after it rains. Take your dog for a walk on the wet pavement. Every couple of minutes you're going to give your dog a treat. Say, good girl. And you're going to build up to the point where you're actually walking your dog in the rain and giving her treats and praising her. And then when it rains, you're going to take your dog out on a leash, not use the doggy door. You're going to physically go out there with your dog. But the thing you have to remember is you're not talking. You're acting calm. You're acting confident. You're showing your dog that rain is nothing to be afraid of. And indeed, rain is something that is really positive because I get treats and I get praise. And over time, you will associate your dog and rain with good things. You'll eliminate the negative association. We don't know what that negative association is, but I'll tell you what, it's real common for dogs to be afraid of thunder and lightning and fireworks, and she might associate rain with that, with a thunderstorm. So time, patience, consistency, and just realize you got to stick to the plan. You have to have a plan, and you got to stick to it. Don't abandon the plan because you don't think it's working. It might take 2, 3, 4 months because it doesn't rain every day, so you're going to have to wait to do this.
How did this start?
It can start in a variety of ways. Usually, a dog will associate something with a bad event. So let's say when your dog was a puppy, there was a thunderstorm. That would create a negative, fearful association that you have not changed, and it would just manifest itself her whole life. So you have to replace the negative association with positive associations. How it started, we don't know. We weren't there when it started, so we can't answer that question.
Since it doesn't rain a lot, can't she even get just a hose?
You said she's afraid of sprinklers. You can just turn the sprinkler on and stand there. Don't sit. Stand next to your dog in the backyard and move her close to the sprinkler to the point where she starts to get anxious and stop right there. Give her a treat. Say, good girl, good dog. And just watch the sprinkler together. That's a great idea, Judy.
That's a great idea. I never thought of that because the thing is, the worst thing, he's terrified. The worst thing I could do is yank the dog and say, come on, come on. Right. No. I have to carry the dog. I know it sounds ridiculous.
Well, the other thing is you don't want to carry your dog. You don't want to pick your dog. No. Because that again, is reinforcing, you're giving your dog attention, lots of attention, and making her more fearful. You're basically, when you pick your dog up in the rain, here's the message you're sending your dog. You're saying, yes, you should be scared. I'm scared too.
Okay.
You understand? So you want to be calm, patient, confident. Do not pick her up. Keep her on a leash. Don't take her out in the rain. Just watch the rain together. Watch the sprinkler together. And you're going to see over time she starts to calm and she'll start to associate the water with a good thing, meaning I'm getting treats and praise every time water's around.
I never thought of that because I was like, my wits' ends. I'm sure my neighbors, when I bring the umbrella over them, I'm sure they're thinking, this lady is insane. They're watching it like, here she comes again with this dog. She's like a freak person because I try and I try.
I can hear the anxiety in your voice. So basically when it rains, you're getting anxious, which makes your dog more anxious.
Okay. I don't know. He was hit by a car, he had a fractured pelvis or whatever. I'm sure it has nothing to do with that.
I'm just curious, is he terrified of cars?
That's funny you say that. He was hit by a car. Somebody brought him in. And he was terrified going outside, so I desensitized him. And so little by little, I praise him. Good, Toby. Oh, that's so good. And he will go outside now on a walk. No worry.
See? And you do you desensitize him to the rain the same exact way. You keep a bucket of treats in your pocket and do the same exact thing with the rain as you did with the truck.
Help prevent pests on your pet with monthly topical flea or tick treatments. Advantage 2 for cats or dogs kills through contact, so fleas don't have to bite to die. Canine Advantix 2, which is for dogs only, repels and kills ticks, fleas, and mosquitoes, repels biting flies, and kills lice. Advantage 2 and Canine Advantix 2 kill all flea life stages, including eggs and larvae. Advantage 2 and Canine Advantix 2 are recommended by veterinarians and are available at animal hospitals and pet specialty retailers.
Hi, I'm Dick Van Patten.
And I'm Jimmy Van Patten.
And we're here to talk to you about our new line of Alpha grain-free dog and cat formulas. And we've been the leaders in grain-free nutrition with our LID formulas before grain-free became a trend.
Our new grain-free Alpha formulas combine multiple high-quality proteins at balanced levels with unique fruits and vegetables for vitamins and antioxidants.
For more information on Alpha and all of my dog and cat food formulas, visit naturalbalanceinc.com.
Mom, I had the best dream.
Well, good morning to you, too.
Okay, so I was a knight. I had a sword, and our house was a castle. There was this angry dragon. It was kind of scary.
Oh, yeah?
But I protected the castle.
Oh, that's my brave little man. I'm glad our castle is safe.
Your home is your castle, and sometimes you need help defending it. The National Association of Realtors supports maintaining homeowner tax incentives because they make home ownership more affordable for more families. Learn more at houselogic.com.
It was the moment I realized I was about to lose my job.
I found myself searching for pills instead of just being with my family.
At that moment, I finally decided to get help for my addiction to opioids.
The prescription painkillers.
At turntohelpnow.com, you'll learn that opioid dependence is a real medical condition and that there are different ways to get help, including those in a private setting, without the need for daily visits.
That moment led me to turntohelpnow.com.
Make now your moment. Visit turntohelpnow.com today.
Hi, this is Steve Garvey on Animal Radio. Remember to spay and neuter your animals. Thank you.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
This portion of Animal Radio is brought to you by D-Herbs, with over 400 products available for both you and your pet. Jumpstart the health revolution and experience healing. Go to D-Herbs, that's the letter D, herbs.com, providing solutions for better health.
Will this excite Dr. Debbie? That's the name of my contest.
What is it?
Will this excite Dr. Debbie? That's what it'll be each week.
Oh, dear.
We should get the listeners in on that.
Yes, and I figure you can give prizes away. You know, you get 2 listeners on the phone, and then they don't know what I'm going to... Well, actually, you could tell them off the air what it is, and then they guess, yay or nay.
So I'm going to have to give hints, because there was something else that was just really interesting. In Vegas, we have kind of the invasion of grasshoppers, you know, the little locusts.
I saw that.
Yes, and they're everywhere. So we're walking the dogs, you know, they're 5 in the morning, and they're everywhere, all over this parking lot. And Boss, like every 2 feet, he's jumping and leaping, and he's trying to catch and eat these things. They're plastered all over the building of my hospital. And I walk into the back door, and I'm going, crunch, 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 crunch. And they're all like little grasshopper carcasses. So that was cool. I like that. I'm like getting my phone out, taking pictures.
If you're brand new to Animal Radio, Dr. Debbie loves smells and gross things. She loves to smell dogs' ears. She loves expressing anal glands.
Yes, she does. That's her favorite. And you know what's really cool? The way she talks about it in such a clinical way, but you can hear the underlying excitement and glee.
And we head to Larry. Hey, Larry, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Where are you calling from today?
Oh, right now I'm in North Platte, Nebraska. I'm a truck driver.
Okay, and drive very carefully there. I have Dr. Debbie here. What's going on?
Hi, Dr. Debbie. I've been fighting yeast infection in my chocolate lab's ears for a year.
Okay.
And I've been using this solution that's supposed to clean and dry them, and then Otomax drops.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay.
I took her to our own vet back home in Minnesota on Thursday, and he looked at it under a microscope and determined that yes, that's indeed what it was, and then he gave her a shot that was, I think, cortisone.
Okay.
And then I have ointment that I put in her ears twice a day. I'm driving right now, so I can't get to the pills to see what all. But one pill was 1.5 tablets once a day for 20 days. And he said, you don't want to miss any days with this because it heals the skin layer by layer from the inside out, and it takes 20 days to do it. And
okay.
The other pill, I think it maybe was a follow-up to the cortisone or something. It was 1 pill every day for 7 days and then 1 every other day for 14 days.
Okay, yeah, that's what it sounds like. Sounds like probably an antibiotic was the first one because it takes about 3 weeks for cell turnover. And then the second one sounds like a steroid of some sort because you had a tapering schedule there.
Okay. Now, here's my question. He mentioned that by the time I go through this with all the medications and stuff, like 4 times, I could pay for the surgery. What surgery is that? And he explained he actually took his finger and run it down Candy's cheekbone, and he says we would actually cut away that ear canal or slice that ear canal down to where it, about 2 inches or so down to where it makes it turn in.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Stitch it up so it stays open and it can drain. And I know, in humans, doctors put tubes in your ears sometimes for people that have problems with water in their ears and make it drain. And I wondered if you had heard of that, because I talked to some other people that are pretty big time into dogs, and they hadn't heard of that surgery before.
Yeah, and from what it sounds like, he's recommended a surgery called a lateral ear canal resection. And basically, the place that this procedure can have for dogs with ear problems are particularly those that we have trouble getting down to the deep part of the ear canal. And dogs' ear canals are very different shape than ours. With people, you could take a Q-tip and accidentally shove it too far and pop your eardrum. With dogs, that is impossible with normal routine means, because there's a part of the eardrum that goes down vertically, and then it turns and goes horizontally inside the base of the head. So it's really kind of like an L, if you will. And if there's infection at that deep part where the L is horizontal, it's really hard to get that cleaned out effectively. So the ear resection surgery removes that outside wall of cartilage and basically allows you to get the medicine down at the source. So he's right. That can be a very helpful thing. And I actually, the last dog I had done that surgery on was a standard poodle, not a dog you think of a whole lot with some of these, ear infections. And it really made a huge difference in the home care and really for the people tackling that. Now, there are some other things that, as far as with recurrent ear infections, for me, a lot of it is really getting to some of the core reasons why we get ear infections in dogs or Labradors in particular. So things like thyroid problems. Low thyroid problems in dogs can cause a propensity for ear infections. So if your vet thinks that might be something worthwhile checking out, it's a great thing if we can treat it.
About that.
Yeah. And then other things so common in retrievers, as well as other dogs, are allergies, seasonal allergies and food allergies. So some dogs with those types of conditions will just blow with ear infections on again and off again all the time. So it's a little bit more costly to do some of the testing for some of the allergy conditions, but there are some simple things like diet change, going to hypoallergenic diets, or using some medicines that are geared towards symptoms of allergy, like cyclosporine, which is actually my preference rather than steroids on a long-term basis. If we can, avoid steroids, I prefer that. So those are some more like long-term strategies you can look at.
Sure.
So I wouldn't poo-poo that idea of the surgery. It's just, for me, I would want to make sure it's something that, is appropriate for your pet. And then the other big problem I see with a lot of dogs with recurrent ear infections is we just don't get to the heart of the infection and clean the ear out. And, if we're considering that plumbing builds in dogs' ears, it's hard to clean at home. So ear flushes under general anesthesia can be very helpful to get that plumbing clean, get the garbage out, and then it helps you to be more effective in your home care. So that might be something as well, if that's, appropriate for him.
And see, he did explain that to me, too. He said I probably wasn't going nearly deep enough, but I'd go like an inch, and she'd yelp, it was hurting her. So he didn't try to pursue it either by going any further. He said, we got to get that healed up. But he was afraid maybe that my attempts at cleaning, I was just pushing it down inside worse, So I hope we get on top of it. But that was the main thing I wanted to know if you had heard about that surgery. And I will, I wrote down thyroid problem. I will ask about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that lateral ear canal surgery, the dog of the breed that we tend to do this the most in tends to be Cocker Spaniels, because for a lot of reasons they tend to have a lot of ear infections. So if that procedure is done early on, before there's a lot of chronic scarring in those ears, some of these pets can manage them much easier at home. And they just look a little different. It's fine. The ear flap covers it, so it's not anything that, will change aesthetics or anything. So. Well, thank you for your call, Larry.
Oh,
Good luck
been a
with
lot
that.
Of help. I've talked to you before about a couple of years ago about her. I can't remember what the issue was. But you're always a lot of help, and I sure do enjoy your program on the radio.
Glad to help. Thank you.
So,
thank you for your call, Larry.
Thanks again. Bye now.
1-866-405-8405. We hear about new listeners every week. It's great to hear about listeners like that have been with us for so long. We enjoy it. Thank you so much.
Have you guys seen My Strange Obsession on TLC?
What's that?
It's the show where they have lunatics on there that are obsessed with different things. And this one I was watching, this lady's obsessed with rats. She has 19 rats, and her husband made her get a separate apartment, because he doesn't like rats. Her husband's like, well, maybe he can get over this soon and we can get back together the way it should be. And she looks at him and goes, no, I don't think so. Nothing's going to change. Our marriage is pretty much over because my rats come first.
They say rats make good pets.
She's got 19 of them, and she loves them beyond reality. I mean, they kiss her, they sleep with her, they do just about everything you can do with a person.
You dirty rat, you.
I thought you didn't have cable.
I know, and I see it on the internet. I cruise the internet every day looking for the finest. There's also a lady on there who likes to be stung by bees. She's obsessed with bee stings. She stings herself 15 times a day.
Oh, how nice. Very exciting.
How sick.
That's a show I can't miss.
Yeah. And her husband says, I'm starting to get concerned.
It's starting to get concerned, huh?
Starting to worry about this.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Find us at animalradio.com. Log on, learn more.
Animal Radio is brought to you by...
Help prevent pests on your pet with monthly topical flea or tick treatments. Advantage 2 for cats or dogs. Kills through contact, so fleas don't have to bite to die. Canine Advantix 2, which is for dogs only, repels and kills ticks, fleas, and mosquitoes. Repels biting flies and kills lice. D-Herbs, home of the full body cleanse, also offers 100% all-natural, all-herbal pet care products with over 400 products available for both you and your pet. You know the importance of human health and nutrition, but what about your pets? Jumpstart the health revolution and experience healing holistically and naturally for you and your pet. Go to deherbs.com. That's deherbs.com, providing solutions for better health.
What dog food is specifically designed to reduce the risk of cancer, settle digestive upsets, reduce scratching and shedding? Canine Caviar. What dog food reduces red tear stains and hot spots? Canine Caviar. What dog food has probiotics that reduce the chance of soft stools and have a higher calorie count for better nutrient absorption? Canine Caviar. So what are you feeding your dog? If you didn't answer Canine Caviar, visit caninecaviar.com today and get your pet started on a longer, healthier life.
Ladies, are any of these symptoms familiar? Weight gain, hot flashes, rapid heartbeat, night sweats? How about fatigue, nausea, low energy? Or what about sleeplessness, low libido, and fat storage, especially around the belly area? If you're a woman over 40 experiencing any of these symptoms, you probably have hormonal imbalance. And until you balance your hormones, it'll be practically impossible to get rid of these problems. But you're in luck because Amberen is the all-natural formula clinically shown to cause weight loss in women over 40 with no big change in lifestyle. Amberen restores hormonal balance in women over 40 so you can finally lose the weight. And all of the other menopause symptoms simply go away. To receive a complimentary risk-free trial with a free 30-day supply, just be one of the first 50 callers right now at 1-800-851-8111. Free supplies are limited, so be one of the first callers right now at 1-800-851-8111. That's 1-800-851-8111.
This is an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by the Scoop-Free Self-Cleaning Litter Box. Never see, touch, or smell messy waste again.
I'm Stacy Cohen for Animal Radio. There's a museum in Russia, and they're celebrating their feline employees. Get a load of this. According to Ria Novista, the Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg is hosting an exhibit that'll be honoring the 60 cats that they use to protect the paintings from mice and rats. The practice dates back to about 1764 when Catherine the Great created the institution and gave the four-legged guards a formal rank and stipend. Well, now the Hermitage Museum has put together a separate gallery featuring the paintings of Alexander Steinlen, who was noted for his love of cats. What a great thing. I think that'd be a great exhibit. City officials in Paris are using a quartlet of black sheep to go green. The New York Times says the animals were purchased to trim the grass in a patch of land near the city's archives. Officials have dubbed the method eco-grazing because they consider it a more environmentally friendly alternative to gas-guzzling mechanical lawnmowers or herbicides. Employees at the archives reportedly wanted a donkey, but the officials deemed the sheep to be a little bit more appropriate. And while residents are invited to visit the animals, they are protected by a 3-foot-high electric fence. The eco-grazers will reportedly be on the job until October. Well, I know this is going to sound like a goat walked into the bar, but it's kind of the story. It turns out a pygmy goat found in a Montana bar wasn't actually there to wet his whistle. According to the Montana Standard, the animal was supposedly brought into the Butte establishment early Sunday morning. Patrons called the police and the goat was taken to a local animal shelter, but its owner remained unknown until the shelter got a call from the Fairmont Hot Springs Resort's petting zoo. I guess the general manager explained that they knew one of their goats was missing, but they didn't realize it was stolen until they saw an article about a bar-going goat. And police are still looking for the culprit behind the theft, but the goat has since been returned safe and sound to the petting zoo. A little extra Easter feasting helped a giant rabbit named Ralph reclaim his title as the world's biggest bunny. According to the Sussex Express, the 4-year-old Hopper, who lives in Auckland, England, lost the title last year when another rabbit named Darius outweighed him. But Pauline Grant, who runs the farm Ralph calls home, says she spent about $75 a week on meals. That's a lot of meals for a rabbit. They're not that big. That have helped him reach his new record-setting weight of 50 pounds. Ralph's daily diet includes a cabbage, broccoli, corn on the cob, half a cucumber, half a bag of watercress, 2 apples, 2 slices of brown bread, whole grain cereal with, of course, cream. It's probably that extra half a cucumber that put on the pounds. I'm Stacey Cohen. You can get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by the Scoop-Free Self-Cleaning Litter Box. Just replace a disposable litter tray once every few weeks and never handle messy waste again. Learn more at scoopfree.com.
Do you enjoy cleaning your cat's litter box? I didn't think so. Scoop Free is the litter box that cleans itself, so you don't have to. Scoop Free automatically rakes waste away, but unlike other systems, you can leave Scoop Free alone for weeks at a time without handling waste or refilling litter. All you do is replace a disposable litter tray, and you'll never see, smell, or touch messy waste again. Learn more about the #1 rated automatic litter box at scoopfree.com.
What dog food is specifically designed to reduce the risk of cancer, settle digestive upsets, reduce scratching and shedding? Canine Caviar. What dog food reduces red tear stains and hot spots? Canine Caviar. What dog food has probiotics that reduce the chance of soft stools and have a higher calorie count for better nutrient absorption? Canine Caviar. So what are you feeding your dog? If you didn't answer Canine Caviar, visit caninecaviar.com today and get your pet started on a longer, healthier life.
Mom, I had the best dream.
Well, good morning to you, too.
Okay, so I was a knight. I had a sword, and our house was a castle. There was this angry dragon. It was kind of scary.
Oh, yeah?
But I protected the castle.
Oh, that's my brave little man. I'm glad our castle is safe.
Your home is your castle, and sometimes you need help defending it. The National Association of Realtors supports maintaining homeowner tax incentives because they make home ownership more affordable for more families. Learn more at houselogic.com.
It was the moment I realized I was about to lose my job.
I found myself searching for pills instead of just being with my family.
At that moment, I finally decided to get help for my addiction to opioids.
The prescription painkillers.
At turntohelpnow.com, you'll learn that opioid dependence is a real medical condition and that there are different ways to get help, including those in a private setting, without the need for daily visits.
That moment led me to turntohelpnow.com.
Make now your moment. Visit turntohelpnow.com today.
If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
We'll head back to the phones in just 1 second. In fact, Judy is screening your calls for Dr. Debbie, our veterinarian, dog trainer Alan Kabel, our groomer Dogfather Joey Villani, and animal communicator Joy Turner. Let's first head to the phones. In line 4, we have Victoria Stilwell on the phones. Hi, Victoria. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
It's time for your biannual interview, I guess. You got a brand new book called Train Your Dog Positively. And I like this because as of late, there's been 2 different camps on dog training. There's been the Cesar Millan, get your dog to roll over and sit on him and be alpha and everything. And then there's the, what do you call your kind of training?
It's the future of dog training. That's what it is. It's really scientifically based. It's, after years and years and years of researching how dogs learn, what they need to be successful, how to deal with different behavioral issues, the modern day behavioral science has proven that positive reinforcement methods, reward-based training, force-free is much more effective and safer option than the old-style dominance training.
Well, that could be psychologically damaging, huh? The old style.
It really can. And, it's not only that. It's now got to the point now where, because dominance training still enjoys quite a media presence in this country, it's getting to a stage where this is becoming a public health and safety issue. Dogs are becoming, when they have a confrontational relationship with their owners, they're becoming more aggressive. There are more bites. And dominance training really promotes more dogs to bite. So positive training across the board, whatever method you decide to use under that umbrella, is a lot safer and more effective.
What if you started training your dog on the old system and you want to switch over to the new system? Can you do that?
Yes, you absolutely can. I think your dog will thank you for it. I think your dog will turn to you and go, oh my gosh, what are you doing? This is so much better. But of course, dogs have a voice, but we just don't understand them. So I think I have people coming to me all the time that say, I started this way and I want to make a change. And when they see the results, they wish that they'd discovered it sooner.
What's the book about?
Well, the book puts the debate right out there. Do you want to train using positive reinforcement, or do you want to stick with dominant methods? And I've put the debate out there, and I've also backed it up on why you should really choose the positive reinforcement, why the future of dog training, modern dog training, is going to be a lot more safer for your dog in the long run and enable your dog to learn and be more successful. I really do think, it's time to come out of the dark ages.
I like your book. I like the fact that, the information, all kinds of information is out there. I don't see very many fear-based training techniques anymore, although I know people do that on their own because they're insecure and crazy. But the more information, the better. And I love the fact that you're out there talking about dogs needing a strong, passionate leader, because that's where it starts. It all starts with the owner, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And I've done this for 15 years now. And so, I don't really need scientific research to kind of prove to me that this stuff works, because I see it every day. And I see what really firm but fair leadership does. And it changes lives. It doesn't just change lives for the dogs. It changes lives for the families that live with them. And that's what I'm about. And, I'm sorry, but I just think it's such a tragedy in this country and in other parts of the world that even though the balance the scales are tipping, that people will still think that the fear-based techniques and the dominant techniques are the right way to go because, hey, it looks sexy on TV, doesn't it, if you like that kind of thing. It looks like it works, but the magic of editing and, you can say anything works when it doesn't. So I hope people change.
Let's go ahead and give away some of these books here. I have 10 copies of Train Your Dog Positively, the author Victoria Stilwell joining us, 1-866-405-8405. Now, your program, It's Me or the Dog, which, by the way, airs in 40 countries, over 8 million viewers. It has just taken off, sort of like the Super Nanny for dogs. Are we looking for another season of that?
Well, at the moment, we're on hiatus. It's actually in 60 countries around the world, I think, last count.
Wow.
We finished our 8th season, and now which is good because I am working on something else now, which is very exciting, and I can't say what it is and what network it's going to be, but I think, and I've seen all the dog shows and the dog programs out there, and I think it's one of the most beautiful shows about dogs and man's relationship with dogs that there has ever been. So that's what I'm filming at the moment, and hopefully that will be on the screens in the new year. But for the moment, it's Me or the Dog is on hiatus. No plans to do more at the moment.
Okay, well, we look forward to that, and of course, when you are ready to announce it, we'll be the first to announce it. Thank you so much for spending time with us, Victoria.
Thank you so much for having me on. I always enjoy this.
Always have fun. Victoria Stilwell, I love her accent. I wish I was born with an accent like that.
That is the hottest thing there is.
I'll tell you. And she's a hot-looking woman, too.
Is she gone? Because I just wanted to ask you,
guys,
because I didn't want to start any trouble. I don't want to start, because I love her. I love her. I love everything she says. But why do you think Cesar Millan? I heard you say, the old style dog, negative, fear-based training. He's not really like that. He's more in line with what she was talking about than anything else. Where did you get that idea, Hal?
Cesar Millan, actually, one of his techniques is to take the dog, roll it over on its back, and
be alpha.
And
I've never seen him do that. I mean, I've seen him come up against, very, very aggressive dogs, and I've never seen him actually do that. Maybe that was something I missed. He's totally positive reinforcement. I don't understand where you get that idea. I mean, every dog I've seen him work with has been based on gaining the dog's trust, giving the dog confidence. It's never fear. He's never, ever striving to make a dog afraid of him. It's always based on trust to begin with.
I guess it's some of his techniques that people have issues with.
I would like to know what the techniques are, only because I think people make things up in their heads a lot of times that are not based on fact, because that guy, he's one of my heroes. I admire that guy so much.
Caesar doesn't like me too much. I had to,
like you,
and this was in my hometown in New Jersey. Being a stagehand, we used to have this theater called the Bergen Performing Arts Center. So they had asked me if I would, do them a favor and come back and work with Caesar on stage, because he went out on tour and he talks to people and talks about training and all. And what they did was they had questions from the audience, and they wanted me to ask the questions. The only thing I can think of is he,
because you were the only one who could read, being New Jersey.
Well,
yeah,
that's
Jersey,
true.
You were the only one.
Okay, so you want to go there? Okay, well, we'll discuss that later. But anyway, what happened was it was my hometown. It was my home crowd. When I came out, they were screaming, cheering. And I guess he didn't like that too much, and he wouldn't talk to me. He wouldn't say. I tried to shake his hand. He walked out. I did something. The only thing I said to him was, "Hello, it was nice to meet you." We went on stage, and then after that, I wanted to take a picture and everything, and he wanted nothing to do with me. So
that's very disheartening.
And I didn't even tell him. I didn't even tell him I was going to slap him.
Maybe he was afraid.
Nice.
Maybe because when you came out, people were screaming, "Where's my money, Joey? Where's my money?"
But I like his methods. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Caesar's methods are, just common sense almost.
This portion of Animal Radio is brought to you by Flex RX. Like people, as dogs get older, arthritis is the most common problem they face, and Flex RX doesn't just mask the symptoms, it restores natural joint function. Flex RX is available at pet shops and retailers across the country.
Hey, this is Cesar Millan. When I'm not doing the dog whisper, I'm listening to Animal Radio. Stay balanced.
Let's head to the phones. We have Sherry on the phones. Hey, Sherry, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. How about you?
Good. What's going on in your world?
Well, I got a brand new puppy about 3 weeks ago, a teacup chihuahua.
Oh, wow. Little guy.
Yes, his name is Sophie. And I noticed after I had her for just a short time that the tips of her ears were curling backwards. And at first I thought it was really cute because they reminded me like the little pixie shoes. But now they're really turning backwards, and I did some research, and it said some things, but I want to double-check with you because I don't always believe what I read on the Internet.
Well, that's a good policy to have, definitely. You got to be a little skeptical.
You mean you're saying I shouldn't believe everything I see on the Internet? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
We do see this in some breeds of puppies, where the ear tips curl kind of backward. And it's usually something that they will grow out of. Now, I got to ask, when you got her, were they standing erect at that point?
They almost were, and then within just about 5 days, they turned up again, and then and everything was fine. And then I just noticed just a real slight curl, And then now they're really curling, so I mess with them. I try to, and people say pin them and everything. If I pinned her ears, she'd be at them in a second.
Yeah. And the honest truth is that in most dogs, this will return to normal. It may not be for many weeks or even several months, but usually by the time we're about 6 to 7 months old, especially if those ears have been up and you saw them go into that erect state at one point and they just kind of curl back after that, they're going to go back. You just got to give it time. Now, yes, you can do taping, and there are definitely oodles of resources that you can look at for taping, but normally Chihuahua ears do stand on their own, so we really don't have a lot of concern that we need to do that. If it is done, I have had people that I will just advise them to stick to something simple, like cutting a little bit of mole skin and kind of affixing that to the inside of the ear to give it a little bit of extra upright rigidity. But really, I mean, it's just an aesthetic thing. And yeah, it is kind of cute the way they curl backwards like that. So I would say enjoy the...
She weighs all of 1 pound and 2 ounces, and her ears are huge, and just curl backwards. It's the cutest thing in the world.
Yeah, I'd say enjoy the photos now, because, the chances are they're going to get better. But yeah, there's a lot of thoughts, in these young pups, if there's some kind of bodily inflammation going on, whether they be, they're cutting teeth or that they have some kind of, that's the common thing you'll probably hear on the internet is that, while they're losing their teeth, their ears. And I think it's just a timing thing. But there's also, I've even had dogs where we've had heavy worm infestations, and that's just an inflammation in the body. And, the ears kind of could be the thing. So as long as you've worked with your veterinarian, she's in good health, you're deworming her. Otherwise, I'd say just give it time and enjoy those baby's cute little ears.
Okay, I'll do that. Thanks you so much.
Thanks for your call, Sherry. We appreciate it. 1-866-405-8405. I just read that this came in over the press here. In California, a dog is no longer property. That's great. In the court's eyes, they are no longer considered property. Now, of course, for years and years, if something happened to your dog and the courts ruled in your favor, they would pay you a certain amount as if it was property.
Yeah, replacement value.
But no longer.
Well, that's going to be a little bit. I mean, I'm all for it on the standing that I love my animals and I don't want them known as a thing.
Sure.
But you know what? This is going to open up a whole world of, litigation. You injure someone's dog, they can sue you for pain and suffering, and they could go after you in a totally different way, and not to mention your, veterinary liability and the cost at the vet.
This is
Animal Radio.
Hi, this is Iron Chef Kat Cora on Animal Radio. Please adopt a pet.
Animal Radio is brought to you by Natural Balance Pet Food, the finest food you can buy for the health of your pet. No matter which line of Natural Balance Pet Food you choose, you know it will truly be the food for a lifetime. Visit www.naturalbalance.net to learn more.
Ow. That's Larry Blackman. I believe one of his cats got him in the codpiece when he did that there. It's Animal Radio. We're the show that answers your questions about how do people get jobs in radio when they just have no. We answer the questions about your cats and your dogs and your iguanas and your ferrets and your fish. And we have Dr. Debbie she practices in Las Vegas, and so she sees all kinds of animals. We also have dog trainer Alan Kabel. He can help you with any of those vexing dog issues. Dogfather Joey Villani and Joy Turner, our animal communicator. By the way, Joey Villani, if you haven't checked out his brand new line of spot remover, great stuff. He has, of course, he was on Dogs 101 and Groomer has it, and he's always giving out great advice about your dogs and grooming them. He'll be answering your questions on today's show, too. I'm sorry, just a little distracted there. Yeah, I'm thinking 20 years ago, our animals were in our backyards. We wouldn't let them in the house, the dogs especially. Now they're sleeping in beds with us and eating our food.
Going on vacation.
That's what this show is about, is celebrating that connection. So welcome if this is your first time listening. This is our 12th year. And as I mentioned earlier, we're coming up on our 600th show, which makes me feel old. Stacy, what do you got going on?
Well, I got a story coming up about this guy in Montana whose dog ate $500 that he had laying around, and you know what? By gosh, he's going to get that money back one way or another, right out of that dog's rear end. Yes, and he's going to send it to the Treasury Bureau of Engraving and Printing, and you know what? he might get the money back.
Wow.
I'll tell you how and why coming up on Animal Radio News.
Good news, I hope.
Yeah.
We'll find out in just a few minutes.
That's a lot of money.
Everything comes out in the end, right?
It really does. It really does. I'm sure you've had plenty of cases like that where you've had to deal with animals that have ingested things.
Oh, yes.
What is the weirdest thing an animal has ever ingested at your practice?
The weirdest thing actually tends to be someone's panties that don't live in the household that the wife lives in.
Oh.
Someone else's panties.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
How did that turn
That's hard
out?
to explain when the dog vomits a thong and your wife doesn't wear one.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We can answer your questions on the phones at 1-866-405-8405. You can also tweet us your questions or Facebook us your questions, or the brand new way to do it is ask your questions right from the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. So you want to download that puppy right now. This one comes in off the app. This comes from Steve Worsley. He writes, my dog loves egg whites. Is it okay? He will eat them all day long.
Well, egg whites are actually very good protein. It's very bioavailable, so meaning it's utilized for energy very well. The only but if that I'm going to throw in there is that they can't be raw. So raw egg whites contain a component called avidin, and it's basically a protein that blocks the absorption of a type of B vitamin, and it can cause B vitamin deficiency. So if fed raw eggs on a regular basis, that can be a problem. So if the egg is scrambled and you're just kind of doing the little egg white, I don't see a problem as long as it's not a major part of the diet.
What about cholesterol? Do they suffer from high cholesterol like us humans? I know for humans, you're not supposed to have eggs every day because that can lead to high cholesterol.
Yeah, and with dogs, dietary cholesterol doesn't tend to be the problem so much because they're not generally eating French fries and pizza and a lot of bad food. So even though there is cholesterol in the egg yolk, it's still good for them. And only in really extreme cases would I not feed that to a dog. So that should be fine.
Little doggy egg farts all day long. This
Lovely.
one comes in from a whole family, the Samagis. They write at yourvoice@animalradio.com. They write, my little pug baby has a collapsed trachea. He's 10 years old. We adopted him at 7 years old. His previous owner thought he had allergies, and that's why he coughed. When we got him, we took him, got x-rays, and they found out that he had a very small trachea. We've had it under control with daily cough suppressant pills prescribed by our vet and steroids. We've opted not to have surgery because our research shows that the outcome is not very favorable in almost half the cases. Our vet is experienced on animal acupuncture and offered to give Duke a round and see if that would help with his cough. I guess our question is, what can we expect for the little pug man getting needles stuck in him? I'm afraid he won't like it. We absolutely love our little man so much we want him to be comfortable for many more years of pugging. First of all, let me just say, I like it when you call little man. That's cute. That's endearing.
And years of pugging, because that's what, I fell in love with pugs at practice, and that's why I partly wrote the book on pugs. Mm-hmm. They are such fun characters, but they are wiggly fellas, so I can see why the concern for acupuncture as a therapy may or may not be appropriate. And I guess in that part of the question, my answer would be that some pugs just don't sit for anything very well, but with many dogs with acupuncture, there are some calming points that they can treat, and that may help the pet calm for the duration of the session. So it might be worth a try, but recognizing that some pugs you can't get them to sit still, and they do that, and you just got to accept it. That is puggy. So who knows? It might be worth a try. Now, going back to her comment in question about surgery for a collapsing trachea. Collapsing trachea, for me, when I talk surgery, it really has to be pretty bad. So meaning that the dog has to be really bad with symptoms of coughing, maybe having severe distress or almost emergency bouts. And the actual collapse in the trachea that happens, it's kind of a flattening that happens. And it has to be about 50% of the diameter of the airway. And if it's about that much or more, then the dog might be a candidate for surgery, really, because it can be a life-saving potential tool for some pets. But it's not perfect, and surgeons will vary on how much they say it helps. So sometimes as much as 75 or 80% of dogs will improve with it. It just depends on selecting those pets that have the best options with that, because not every pet does well with the surgery. But if the medicine's helping him, I don't know that I'd say that's got to be a reality for this little guy.
I had acupuncture once. It got me nauseous. The doctor said it was your chi being released.
Well, yeah, that's what they say. It's going to happen the first time until you get all that toxins out, and then the next sessions won't be as bad. But I guess you were just so put off, or you didn't go back to the second session.
No.
If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
This portion of Animal Radio, my friend, is brought to you by Stella and Chewy's. Natural goodness for dogs made with raw USDA-inspected meat, raised naturally, no added hormones, no antibiotics, just good food. The official food of Ladybug, the studio stunt dog. In fact, her little head peeked up when I said Stella and Chewy's, and you can learn more at stellaandchewy's.com. I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, the Dogfather, Joey Villani.
You know, these violin players, they're getting a little bit expensive. I think maybe we should just get the Sopranos theme song from the beginning and play that off a CD, because these guys they're asking for more money here, Hal, and, I don't know what to tell them.
I notice you give them cash every week.
They only work in cash.
Oh, okay.
So listen, I want to talk about the 5 top reasons why you should bring your pet to the professional groomer besides the bath and the haircut. First and foremost, and I say this a lot on here, but I'm going to just make sure everyone remembers this, go in just for the checkup. Now, when I'm saying checkup, it's not a medical checkup, so any veterinarians that are listening, don't get your panties in a bunch here, because it's a visual checkup, and it's a total body, we're going to feel the body, we're going to look in areas that you probably don't normally look. I mean, how many times do you look at your dog? Do you look at your dog's butt? Do you know what I'm saying? Or in any private areas? Well, we have to work in those areas, so they're winking at us basically. We feel underneath the arms. We look in the ears. A lot of times we look at their teeth. Everything that goes along with it, and we may find things that you may not know about, whether it be the slightest little bump or irritation, or something that can actually, turn out to be something that could be serious, and your groomer finds it, and hopefully you get it taken care of, and then you don't have any more problems. The other thing is the nail clipping. Your dog's routinely, unless your dog is an active working dog, and when I'm saying active working dog, I'm not just talking about a dog that runs around the backyard. I'm talking about a working dog, maybe a dog on a farm, maybe a dog that hunts on a regular basis, or even a dog that walks the city streets on pavement, like in L.A. or in New York City. Those dogs, not so much because they grind their nails down, but the regular, I'm going to say probably, and I'm just throwing a guess out there, 75% of every other dog out there that sleeps on your couch more than you get to sit on it, those dogs, they need to have their nails cut, because what ends up happening is the nails are now going to curl under, they're going to start walking on it, it's going to be very uncomfortable because it's going to splay the feet, and it's also going to grow into their pads and then cause problems.
Okay, so how often should we be checking the nails anyway?
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because I would have left that out. Every 4 to 6 weeks. And if your dog's nails are extremely long and need to be cut back, go to your groomer weekly. It's not all that expensive. Groomers charge anywhere from $5 to $12, depending on the groomer that you go to cut them back. Because every time you cut them down, there's a quick in there, and the quick will recede back. And the quick is a vein for a lot of people who don't understand the terminology. And I can only cut up to that point without making your dog bleed. But the more I cut it, the more it recedes, the shorter I get it. And the other thing is anal glands. Now, a lot of people say, a lot of people don't even know what anal glands are. But anal glands are sacs underneath the rectum that fill up, and a lot of dogs, when they go to the bathroom, and they expel them themselves. Some dogs, and I see it more in smaller breeds than I do in larger breeds. What happens is these a little bit of assistance, and a groomer can actually squeeze them. It smells horribly. It's disgusting. Usually, if you ever scared a dog real bad, you'll smell it, because a lot of times, through nerves, they'll just release it.
I'm sorry to interrupt. What does a groomer usually charge for the anal gland?
Well, anal glands really should be part of the haircut themselves. So it depends on the bath and the haircut, because it's not something you want to do if there's not a bath that accompanies that. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Number 4, it's good for socializing. Get your dog out. Let them see other people. Let them see other dogs. Let them get used to it, especially at a young age. And the last thing is, and this goes back to our jingle, that animals are people too. And I'm going to stick to that, and I'm going to tell you why. I don't know this for a fact, okay? I'm not Joy, and I can't read their minds, but what I can tell you is when a dog is clean and a dog has a haircut, from when they come in to when that haircut is complete, they act completely different. They're happy. They feel, it almost seems like they feel better. It almost feels like they look better. We've made them this way because of our habits, okay, for what we do. And we get excited when we see them. We pick them up from the salon. So that gets them excited. It makes them feel good.
Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team. Veterinarian Dr. Debbie White, dog trainer Alan Kabel, groomer Joey Villani, communicator Joy Turner, and here are your hosts, Al Abrams and Judy Francis.
Wow, what an incredible show that Judy has booked today. We're talking to a guy who's suing the state of Texas. He apparently he's an internet veterinarian.
Yes.
And they don't want him to practice anymore. So that's all on the way right here on it. That's just the tip of the iceberg here today. Let's move to the middle part of the iceberg right now. We have Stacy Cohn.
Okay, this is crazy, and I don't know how anybody could even fall for this, but a ferret on steroids was passed off as a poodle. Not once, but a few times. This pet store was giving these ferrets steroids, and they passed them off as these little white poodles. And people bought it for $150. Wow. I'll tell you more about it coming up on Animal Radio News.
Wow.
That's absurd. Who would do that? That's just sick.
How could you mistake a ferret, even on steroids, as a poodle? They don't even have the same type of coat or look anything alike.
Oh, my gosh. Well, they give it an exotic name.
That's the same person I could sell the Brooklyn Bridge to.
The new breed, a feral poodle.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
You remember those lambs? It was about a year ago. They were passing off lambs as dogs.
I remember the story. I don't really remember, the whole crux of it, but I do remember the story.
Any day now, there's going to be a person passes off his daughter as a dog as a daughter, and for a big dowry somewhere, and some guy's going to marry a poodle.
Let's just go to the phones. What do you say? Hey,
Thank you.
Hey, Kiki, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Nervous, but good.
Nervous, but good. Where are you calling from today?
Riverside, California.
Don't be nervous. We'll be really gentle, okay?
Oh, thank you.
What's going on?
Not much, actually, which is kind of why I'm calling. I have the best dog ever created.
Oh, really?
You bet. Wow. He is beautiful, and he's big. He's a big, hairy, funny guy.
Sounds like my husband.
Okay. I have 2 questions for Alan, please.
Yes, ma'am.
One is that I need a trainer for my dog and me, because I want him to be my all-purpose dog.
What do you want him to do exactly? What do you need him to do?
Okay, well, he's already my companion, and I dare say he's probably, you could call him my guardian. I mean, he barks like crazy if you come near his house. But I want him, the rest of it goes is that I want to have him as my guide dog.
Well, you know what? You're going to need, in order to turn a dog into a guide dog, takes some very specialized training. There are very special places where they do that.
Yeah, and they also have very special attitude if you want them to do your dog.
It's a very complicated training process. It's not something that you could do yourself. And I'm not sure if there are private citizens who do that out there. I really don't know. I've never really had that kind of a question before. It's interesting.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because you want them to be a full-fledged guide dog, which is a very, very complex procedure. A dog has to have the right personality and the right upbringing from puppyhood to be a guide dog. Approximately 3 out of every 4 dogs fail the process, believe it or not.
I do believe it. Having been there and done that, I know.
Yeah, so...
But I'm telling you, my dog, for me, okay, the operant here is me. For me, he's perfect.
Yes, for you, he's a perfect companion, but I'm not sure that you could turn him into a guide dog. I mean, you'd have to find somebody to do that for you, and you might not be able to have him at home for a while because they'd have to actually take him.
No one is taking my mammy away from me.
Nobody's taking that baby away from you.
Not 3 minutes, not 3 weeks or seconds or anything else.
Well, let me ask you this. Why can't you maybe get another dog that is a guide dog? Get yourself...
Because I have been there and done that, and I found a whole lot of issues that getting a dog that was already programmed wouldn't... I don't know how to explain it nicely. I couldn't do it, so I couldn't.
You didn't like the dog? Did they give you a dog? Did you actually get a dog?
Oh, yeah, I did.
I've
been there and done that, yeah.
And you didn't like the dog they gave you?
It wasn't that I didn't like the dog, but there was so much about the dog that because she was as old as she was when I got her, and it's not that she was even old, it was that I didn't know the dog.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and
I understand.
There was a lot of what some of us thought was a lot of, I guess you could say double talk. An example, just to show you, was they would tell us one thing, like, go with your dog, depend on your dog, because she knows what she's supposed to do when we were in the streets. However, in lecture, they would say, your dog is going to test you, and it's up to you to do these things. Don't let her get distracted. Don't let her do the things that she's going to do. But you know, you already told us to depend on our dogs.
I understand. I understand what you're saying. Now, you said you had 2 questions. What was the second question?
Oh, yeah. The second one is that I want to know, maybe you can give me some tips on how to play with my little Lemmy. See, when I throw a Frisbee, I think he thinks that I'm throwing it at him and not to him.
Well, dogs don't think like that. I mean, does your dog bring the Frisbee back? Does your dog bring it back to you?
If he feels like it. He brings a ball a lot quicker than he'll bring the Frisbee.
Well, then you go outside, sit in your chair, and just throw a ball. That's the best way to play with him. Just throw the ball for a half hour. That's what you do. And you know what? Don't worry about getting a guide dog. I understand what you're saying, and you know, why you had trouble with your guide dog. I understand totally. You're happy with the dog you have now. You're happy with his behavior. You just want to play with him and make sure he's happy, and he will be. You just play with him a half hour a day and keep doing what you're doing.
No, see, but I don't want just to play with him, though. I want to take him with me because having him with me does, among other things, keep me focused. And
take him. Yeah, continue to do that. Continue to take him with you where you go.
But I can't legally do that, though, can I?
Why?
Because he's not certified or registered or whatever it is he's supposed to be.
Oh, I see. You want to take him in. You know what?
Well,
most states, I think you can definitely get that done now. In most states, from what I'm seeing, you can pretty much, some people have guide alligators now. I mean, whatever animal you have that makes you feel better can be, what do they call it? An assistance animal?
Yes.
What do they call it?
Therapy or medical alert, depending on what the application is. What is the application? Are you blind? Are you...
Yeah, that's what I am.
Okay.
You should call the, I don't know who you would call, probably the Humane Society or the...
I call you.
Well, no, I'm not in charge of any...
I don't have to call either.
No, see, now look at how you're going on. Look at how you know what? Wait a minute.
I know what I want from my dog. What I need
a minute.
Is the trainer to show me the how.
Now, wait a minute now. I think you're being unreasonable. I don't live with you. I'm not in your state. I don't know the laws there. You want to bring your dog. You said to me, this is what you said, okay? I'm not putting words in my mouth. I'm putting them in yours. You said to me, I want to know how I can bring my dog everywhere. Well,
sure,
I can't.
Yeah,
well,
I did
well,
say
I'm
that,
going to answer. I'm going to, boy, oh boy, am I married to you? I'm going to answer your question right now. You call the Animal Control Board and you tell them your situation, and I'll bet you money they will give your dog a certificate that allows your dog to go with you wherever you want him to go. I'll bet you money.
Serious?
Really?
Yeah, serious.
It's amazing how you can get a certificate if you have a dog that just makes you feel emotionally better.
Well, he is so cool, though. I mean, he is more than that. I think that's the point I've been trying to make. My vet is close to me, within walking distance, just because it's important that you know that my vet is
your vet
close
can
to
probably
me.
tell you who to call, but yeah, I'm sure you can get...
He didn't want to go there. He didn't want to know anybody, he told me.
Well, I'm telling you, the state will give...
When we go to my vet, though, Cody and I walk. He's close enough that we can walk.
Right.
Cody knows to go around cars that are parked. He knows to go around mailboxes. And all I have to do is tell him, go around the car, and then I tell him, good job, because he does. When we go up on the curb or up the driveway, I'll tell him, okay, we're going up the curb, or we're going...
Does he plan weddings? I'm looking for a wedding planner. Does he plan weddings? You asked him to.
Comment on that.
Now listen, when you get off the phone here, I want you to immediately, Monday morning, call the Animal Control Board or the Humane Society in your state, and they're going to tell you how to get your dog a certificate so that you can bring them into restaurants, into stores, wherever you need to go.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that wasn't that bad, was that, Kiki?
No.
Well,
no, it wasn't.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Find us at animalradio.com. Log on, learn more.
For dogs, like people, arthritis is the most common health problem, and joints are stressed even more with increased activity in spring. FlexRx is a new way to safely and effectively treat canine joint health problems. All natural FlexRx doesn't mask symptoms like other products. It's clinically proven to restore healthy joint function. With FlexRx, your dogs can enjoy an improved quality of life they've earned and deserve. FlexRx is available at pet shops, retailers, or visit prolabspets.com.
We've talked about Stella and Chewy's family of freeze-dried and frozen dinners for dogs. Now we're pleased to share 2 new exotic dinner additions, Simply Venison and Absolutely Rabbit. Both are made with 90% single-source protein and enhanced with organic fruits and vegetables. Each are fortified with vitamins, minerals, and probiotics to be 100% complete and balanced. Stella and Chewy's, the official food of Ladybug, Animal Radio Studio Stunt Dog. Only the good stuff. For more information, go to StellaandChewy's.com.
Ladies, are any of these symptoms familiar? Weight gain, hot flashes, rapid heartbeat, night sweats? How about fatigue, nausea, low energy? Or what about sleeplessness, low libido, and fat storage, especially around the belly area? If you're a woman over 40 experiencing any of these symptoms, you probably have hormonal imbalance. And until you balance your hormones, it'll be practically impossible to get rid of these problems. But you're in luck because Amberen is the all-natural formula clinically shown to cause weight loss in women over 40 with no big change in lifestyle. Amberen restores hormonal balance in women over 40 so you can finally lose the weight. And all of the other menopause symptoms simply go away. To receive a complimentary risk-free trial with a free 30-day supply, just be one of the first 50 callers right now at 1-800-851-8111. Free supplies are limited, so be one of the first callers right now at 1-800-851-8111. That's 1-800-851-8111.
This is Glenn Close on Animal Radio, and remember how very, very important it is to spay or neuter your pet.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
This portion of Animal Radio is brought to you by Frolicat and the Frolicat Bundle. I'm going to give one away in just a second right here. It includes the Frolicat Bolt, a little interactive laser toy. This is my favorite of all of the whole bundle is the Frolicat Bolt, and I'll tell you about it in just a second. The Frolicat Twitch, also included in the bundle, which takes a little enticing teaser toy and swings it around for your cat. And the Frolicat Dart, which is an automatic rotating laser light. Now, the Bolt, last night, we took it home. We've had it in the studio. We took it home for the cats last night. And Judy set it up. And I didn't even actually know that it was on at the time.
I couldn't let you know because you never let the cats play with it, so I had to do it when you weren't looking.
I walked into the room. All the cats are racing around, chasing after this. And it is truly hours of entertainment for your cats. And it's good to get that exercise. Here's the one thing I did notice. I was not bothered in the middle of the night by the cats because they got all of their exercise and all of their energy out. Prior to going to bed. So if you have one of those cats or 10 of those cats or 15 of those cats that really keep you up all night long with their activities, this is a good way to tire them out and keep them active. And I'm going to go ahead and give one away right now. In fact, I think we have Allie on the phone. Hey, Allie, how are you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I'm fine, thanks.
You have cats?
I have 12 of them.
Really? 12 cats? Holy moly.
I'm down to 12.
Down to 12. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go ahead and give you a Frolicat bundle, if I may.
Well, thank you.
I think they would truly enjoy.
I could always use that. They've all been rescued.
Oh, well, they will love this. So hold on for a second. And also, I understand you want to talk to Dr. Debbie?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi there. What you got going on?
I have an outdoor cat that I rescued last November. He was 6 in September, and I brought him to my bunch. My bunch they're anywhere from 13 to 17 years old. And he just wants to kill about 6 of them. And so I have to keep him completely separated. He's got his own room with a screen door. And I let him out when I'm there, and I can supervise every move he makes. But when he attacks, he just gets into a frenzy, and of course he'll go after me if I get in the middle of it. But
oh, sure.
I've tried the calming collars, which really seem to make a difference. They work for about 3 weeks, and I can tell when it's getting ready to wear off. But I mean, there has been an improvement, but I just can't leave him unsupervised at all, because it's just like nothing special will trigger it. He just sort of just goes off.
Well, I mean, you are in an extreme situation there, Allie, because what I usually advise my kitty clients is once you start getting over 3-4 cats in the household, with each cat that you add, the risk of having an inter-cat issue, whether it's aggression or house soiling, it just goes up. Right. So when we get all of these cat personalities under one roof, I would be surprised if someone with that many cats didn't have cats urinating out of the box or aggression problems and inter-cat issues, because in a high-density situation, cats are under chronic low-grade stress, and they may not show it in the ways that we always notice it, but there can be a lot of nonverbal communication going on. And for some cats, if it seems like nothing is triggering him, believe it or not, a lot of cats will have very passive or fearful behaviors, nonverbal communication that they'll cue, and it actually can trigger an aggressor cat, one who's more dominant and who's starting these altercations, and it actually can be triggered by those other cats' fearful movements.
I have been watching that, and I ended up putting a couple collars on them too, because that was triggering it. I was watching them, sort of crouch down, and then he would just nail them.
Exactly. So a lot of this can be really difficult when you've got this many cats. Now, for a single cat that is being the aggressor, I definitely like the idea of using the pheromone collars. And in my experience, either, the plug-ins or the collars, they do tend to run out of their oomph by about 3 weeks. So there's nothing wrong with, adding a new one on at that 3rd week, because I do hear that just even across the board, dogs and cats. So that's fine. Now, the things that you can do for the aggressor cat, I always advocate giving those other cats a little bit of warning, and that can be done by putting a bell collar on the aggressor cat to just kind of give them a warning that he's coming. Now, it doesn't matter if he's just out looking and he's looking for trouble, because they may not have the opportunity to get away. But the other thing to consider is if he's in good health and the veterinarian clears him, I would consider using some drug therapy for him. In many cases, in a smaller household, sometimes we'll medicate the fearful cat to stop being fearful, and that can often take care of the problem. But in your situation, I don't think it's rational to medicate all those other cats in those senior years. So, if he's in good health, then I would look at getting something like Kitty Prozac for him, or clomipramine, which are commonly some of these drugs that we use to help manage these problems. So that might be a reality. Now, the other thing is, definitely considering the reality of keeping him in a different population. And sometimes you can find cats that have a similar bold personality, and they might be able to acclimate in another room or an environment with him, but you just can't pick those fearful ones. The ones that have a kind of totally different mindset would not be appropriate to be in an environment with him alone. And then, as always, cats, what do cats get upset about, and why do things trigger problems? So making sure the resources in the kitty household are ample. And that can be tough with 12 cats. It really can. So cat trees, I would admit, if I'm picturing your house right now.
I actually emailed you a few hours ago on all the outdoor, I built this huge cattery and downstairs, and then an outdoor enclosed thing with a 40-foot ramp, and I mean, they love it. But I can't let him go out there because I don't want the other ones to get stressed out. So I guess I'm going to have to build him his own.
Definitely. And then throughout the house, that's where, we got to have these places for the cats to kind of get away from each other in general, not just from him. So, perch trees, all of that, through different rooms of the home, places they can hide, making sure there's lots of litter sources and food sources in different rooms of the house, with different entrance and exit strategies. So you don't want to have where they're always going to get ambushed by a particular cat coming out. So you've got to really kind of look at the floor plan and think on their behalf, as if kind of like that. I had a younger sister. I have a younger sister. As far as I know, she's still there. And we always fought like cats and dogs. Sometimes I would just like stand outside the door and wait for her to come through and jump and surprise her and freak her out. And it's a lot of fun, That's what little sisters are for. You're kind of harassing. So you have to kind of think of, what other avenues can the other cats get startled or spooked from fellow cats in the house. So, kind of think about, a little sister.
Think like a cat.
Yeah.
Well, I had 24 at one time, and I hadn't taken any in the last 10 years. All mine they've been like 20 and 23 years old when they die, and they gradually, my numbers have come down. So I'm down to 12 now. So it is a better situation than it was when I had so many.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
definitely.
I said, relative, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I've seen cats where they come from a group household, sizable like yours, and they can have some things like plaques in their mouth that occur from viral stress, or kitties that are having lower urinary tract symptoms because that's a stress organ for cats. So if you have a cat that's peeing out of the box, it could be their stress, it could be their nerves, things that are freaking them out. It doesn't always have to be an infection. So, cats are sensitive creatures, so we got to kind of look at them a little differently.
Yes, they are very complex.
Well, good luck with that, Allie, and we appreciate your call.
Much.
Take care of yourself, Allie. Hold on a second. We need to get your information for the Frolic Cats. 1-866-405-8405. That's toll free to the Dream Team.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too. After 28 years of trying, a British jockey finally won his first race. 44-year-old Anthony Knott, whose day job is a dairy farmer, was so overcome with the thought that he really could be winning, he stood up in his stirrups and was nearly passed by a fellow rider. But he was victorious, riding Wise Men Say, a horse he bought when it was lame and nursed back to health. Knott describes his horse as being a little difficult at first, explaining he used to bite and kick, but the unlikely pair became champions together. So what's next for Knott? He's quitting, saying he wanted to quit while he was ahead, and being he had never been ahead before, he thought it was a great time to quit. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio. Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
Hi, this is Doug Ray of the Marshall Tucker Band, and forever you'll always be listening to Animal Radio. Keep loving those pets.
Fido Friendly is the travel and lifestyle magazine for you and your dog. Each issue includes hotel and destination reviews, along with health and wellness topics, dog training tips, and the latest fashion trends. Pick up a copy at Barnes & Noble, Hastings, or go online to FidoFriendly.com and subscribe today. Fido Friendly is the only magazine dedicated to the travel and lifestyle of man's best friend, and the one magazine your dog will thank you for.
That Hotels.com April shower sale is incredible.
I know.
I can't believe how much money we saved.
Don't say that too loudly. If the bellhops hear how much we saved, they'll be on us, looking for big tips. Too late.
Hi, folks. Take your bag. Call your limo.
Wow.
Can I bring you extra towels?
How about a club sandwich? I can carry you down the stairs. Throw it on rose petals.
The Hotels.com April shower sale. On now through April 29th. With savings so great, you won't be able to keep it a secret. Book now and save up to 30%. Hotels.com. Finding you the perfect place at the perfect price.
This is a referral service. Calls will be routed to an independent referral insurance agency. Do you know the #1 cause of bankruptcy? No, it's not losing your job or running up credit card debt. It's not even divorce. It's medical costs. If you and your family don't have health insurance, just one serious illness or accident could be financially devastating. But now there's good news, really good news. A health insurance hotline has been established to provide health insurance for all Americans, even uninsured Americans with pre-existing conditions. Now anyone can get health insurance even if you have a pre-existing medical condition. I repeat, now anyone can get health insurance coverage. Call now for a free no-obligation quote on affordable health plans available to you. Again, this is a free hotline for anyone, even if you have pre-existing conditions. Protect you and your family from sudden unexpected medical costs. Call the free health insurance hotline right now at 1-800-838-5562. That's 1-800-838-5562. Call 1-800-838-5562.
This is an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by Frolicat, the award-winning automatic pet toys that provide hours of fun for you and your pets.
I'm Stacy Cohen for Animal Radio. Well, I know it's hard to believe that I'm going to be talking about Super Bowl Sunday, but there is a big event coming up on Super Bowl Sunday. 2014, it's going to get a little cuter. The Hallmark Channel has announced the airing of the first ever Kitten Bowl. Now, according to The Hollywood Reporter, the announcement of the kitten edition was announced, noting that kittens featured in the 3-hour event will be available for adoption. The first ever Kitten Bowl, slated to make its debut February 2nd, 2014, happens at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Put it on your calendar. It notes that, like the Puppy Bowl, the afternoon festivities will feature referees, but will add judges, an obstacle course, hurdles, scratchers, hoop jumps, and tunnels, and the most valuable kitten, MVK, will be chosen at the end of the show. Shoppers at La Salda Market in Buenos Aires, Argentina, may not be getting what they bargained for, according to the British newspaper, the Daily Mail. Vendors at the market are trying to pass off, ready for this, bulked up ferrets as toy poodles. The move has reportedly tricked several people into shelling out $150 for the rodents. Apparently, the ferret had been given steroids at birth so it would become bigger. The tricky vendors also fluffed out the rodent's fur so it looked more like a tiny poodle. Well, for a long time, the switch-up had been considered an urban myth until a local TV station reportedly discovered several people who actually bought the animals like that. I mean, it's a little hard I just can't imagine. If ferrets are like long and skinny, can you imagine how bulked up they must have been? Okay, ready for this? You know the old story, my dog ate my homework? How about my dog ate $500? A dog owner in Montana's in the news lately for weird stuff with animals. Anyway, he's taking care of the dirty work now. He's just waiting to see if the U.S. Treasury Department will replace the $500 bills that his dog ate earlier this year. Wayne Kinkle tells the Helena Independent Record that his 12-year-old golden retriever Sundance chowed down on the cash when they were visiting his daughter this past Christmas. Klinkle says that he followed Sundance around for months, picking out pieces of the bills from the dog's droppings, but he didn't think he had enough to do anything with this until his daughter gave him more fragments that she found in her yard. Well, after thoroughly cleaning what was left of the money, he sent it into the Treasury's Bureau of Engraving and Printing. And a federal employee told the Independent Recorder that Klinkle's money will be replaced if they can determine that 51% of the bills are present. But that process could take up to 2 years. Well, you know, you wipe it off. You put it in the washing machine a little bit. Who knows? You can clean it up. It probably won't get interest, though. I'm Stacy Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by Frolicat, the award-winning automatic pet toys that exercise and entertain your pets. Learn more at frolicat.com.
Cats need to stimulate their curiosity, and Frolicat toys automatically entertain and exercise your pet. Turn on Frolicat Bolt or Frolicat Dart and watch your cat chase after randomly generated laser patterns. Or program Frolicat Twitch to turn on automatically so your cat can play while you are away. Frolicat's award-winning designs fit into your modern home and are fun for you and your pet. Buy them at your favorite store or learn more at Frolicat.com.
Surprise Mom early with live fresh-cut roses in jaw-dropping spring colors from FiestaRoses.com. They arrive long before Mother's Day, so Mom feels extra special. And that legendary FiestaRoses.com quality means her dazzling roses still last well past Mother's Day. Use promo code MOTHER and save 20% today only by ordering early. Call 800-707-4833. Remember, order early, use promo code MOTHER and save 20%. 800-707-4833 and FiestaRoses.com.
Mom, I had the best dream.
Well, good morning to you, too.
Okay, so I was a knight. I had a sword, and our house was a castle. There was this angry dragon. It was kind of scary.
Oh, yeah?
But I protected the castle.
Oh, that's my brave little man. I'm glad our castle is safe.
Your home is your castle, and sometimes you need help defending it. The National Association of Realtors supports maintaining homeowner tax incentives because they make home ownership more affordable for more families. Learn more at houselogic.com.
That Hotels.com April shower sale is incredible.
I know.
I can't believe how much money we saved.
Don't say that too loudly. If the bellhops hear how much we saved, they'll be on us, looking for big tips.
Too late.
Hi, folks. Take your bag. Call you a limo.
Wow.
Can I bring you extra towels? How about a club sandwich?
I can carry you down the stairs. Throw down rose petals.
The Hotels.com April shower sale. On now through April 29th. With savings so great, you won't be able to keep it a secret. Book now and save up to 30%. Hotels.com. Finding you the perfect place at the perfect price.
Wow, time is flying by today. There's so much going on. You really packed this show full, didn't you?
I know. It's a really big shoe.
Really, really big shoe. 1-866-405-8405. That is toll-free to the Dream Team. You may say, who is that Dream Team? Animal communicator Joy Turner is joining us. Dogfather Joey Villani. Dog trainer Alan Kabel. And Dr. Debbie all here. And we'll head back to the phones in just a second. This portion of Animal Radio is brought to you by D-Herbs, with over 400 products available for both you and your pet. Jumpstart the health revolution and experience healing. Go to D-Herbs.com. That's the letter D, herbs.com, providing solutions for better health. This story came across my desk about a veterinarian who's has a website, giving advice, medical advice on the website, and he was shut down. I guess the state of Texas...
Oh, yeah.
Shut him down. Dr. Ron Hines joins us. Doctor, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are y'all?
I'm doing okay. Hi, y'all. What, did I tell the story right? What's going on, basically?
Yes, I think everything you said is correct. I've been a veterinarian a long time, almost 50 years now, and wow. My health really doesn't allow me to run an animal hospital like I used to, but I think over the years I've kind of learned things that can be helpful. Not in every case. There's certainly things that really don't lend themselves to Internet advice. But I think in many instances, I can tell people what their options are and maybe lead them in the right direction. At least I hope I can.
So people would ask you questions over the Internet, and you would give them free advice, or you had a $58 flat fee for advice?
Well, I started off doing it for nothing. Sometimes I charge. But if anyone sends me an email, I answer it, whether they charge or not. And I try to tell them what I would do if it were my dog. A lot of these people are overseas. They're isolated. Some just don't have any money.
Is it true that there were people with conflicting diagnoses from their veterinarians, so they would come to you to sort of
get a second
deliberate?
Opinion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. People don't write me when they have a simple problem. It's usually multiple problems, many veterinarians, differing opinions, drug dose questions. I have to review everything I can. If they send me x-rays, I have a look at them, blood chemistry, history. Mm-hmm. We talk on the phone some. A lot of these people, I tell them, I can't help them. Their pet may have cancer, or the pet may have already died, and they're feeling guilty about it, and I think, well, if I would have brought it to the vet a month before, maybe. And a lot of people, their pet is their most important friend in the world, and and I look at it that way too.
I think for a lot of people, maybe listeners aren't understanding why, like, a vet board would protest this, because it sounds like, you know, this should be a great thing. And the thing that I'm assuming that the vet board has a problem with is the lack of a doctor-client-patient relationship, which is inherent when we prescribe medications for pets. Now, I mean, in your instance, you're not prescribing medicine. You are providing information. Is that correct?
That's correct. I always ask what medications the animal is on and their body weight and, you know, how frequently they're given. And if I see a mistake, and sometimes I do, I'll just mail them a PDF of the product insert. But I don't ever criticize, you know, a veterinarian or try to cause acrimony. But, you know, mistakes happen. I make mistakes. Vet boards make mistakes. We all do. And I try to avoid them. I try to fix them when I can, or at least send them down the right road. But no, I don't prescribe medications.
And that's where I
never tell another vet, you know, how to run their business.
Yeah, and I think that's where, you know, I appreciate that vet boards do what they do, but, you know, it's kind of a situation of you're not doing any harm. You're providing a second opinion and maybe empowering some of these pet owners to find and ask those questions to get their pet the care it needs. So, yeah, it scares me that you're getting a problem on this, honestly, because, you know, look at all the media shows out there. We have Dr. Oz, we have the doctors. You know, what is the next step? Are we going to start prosecuting all those shows for these doctors that are answering questions on air? And, you know, this is getting scary. You know how I always get upset when, you know, government comes out and tries to tell us how we can or can't practice our given profession.
Sure. And this is what you do. You give advice on a weekly basis, too, but you don't prescribe any medicines. You often encourage people to go to their veterinarians if you feel that you can't reach a solution on the air. The veterinary medical examiners, they shut you down. They've suspended your license. They've fined you, and they're making you retake portions of your veterinary licensing exam. Seems pretty heavy.
Wow.
What was their reasoning?
Well, they've been rather circumspect in explaining that. I still haven't been able to find out if a complaint was filed, and if so, by whom. We get conflicting messages on that. But I must say the Texas boards, when they modified, and when I started doing this, it wasn't against the law. It was only in 2005 that they modified the act. And basically they followed the AVMA, the American Veterinary Medical Association's guidelines on a modern practice act. So although Texas tends to be quite aggressive in enforcing their professional boards, I believe the same situation exists in every state, although I'm not an attorney and I really don't know much about that. But it is a national policy. At one time it probably made sense. You know, we used to show up with a horse and buggy and look at the horse, and all we really had was our eyes and our ears and our hands. And in those days, I suppose it did make sense, but the world has moved on, and we have radiology reports, you know, that describe all the details on an x-ray that an ordinary practitioner might miss. And we've got electronic blood work results transmitted by national labs like IDEX and Antec. And I tell people, you know, I'm not your veterinarian. I can't examine your phone. I'm not clairvoyant. Can't heal animals over the telephone or the internet. But if I didn't think I was doing good, I wouldn't keep doing it. Of course, I can't do it now.
You're suing, though, right?
Well, the Institute for Justice is suing. I'm 69 years old. I wouldn't be doing this anyway. My health is tenuous. But I felt it was important to open this up for younger veterinarians. I mean, there'll be other vets who would like to do what I do. It gives them a window to the entire world. I have clients in Africa, the Middle East, on remote islands, many of them where there are no veterinarians, or if there are, they just don't have the knowledge that modern veterinary schools provide. The only reason I would really continue with this is for whoever comes and takes us over later. I think vets and veterinary boards and veterinary organizations need to kind of accept the digital and the electronic age. I mean, we are there.
It seems to make sense. And all of this seems to be about free speech. And I guess that's what the lawsuit is about, is free speech, right?
I believe so. That is how I see it. You know, there is no substitute for a seasoned eye looking at or seasoned hands examining an animal, and I try to make that clear.
We're working on the technology to hold your animal up to the radio. And
well, I have to say, I appreciate your battle and your efforts for future veterinary generation. I wish you the best, definitely.
Thank you. Bless your heart.
Dr. Ron Hines joining us. If you want to learn more about Dr. Ron Hines' case, you can head on over to animalradio.com, where we have all the information up at the website.
It sounds like either he didn't tell us the whole story, or there's somebody up there on that board that doesn't like him. You know,
and Alan, you are always the guy looking for the what's the bottom line. You're always scrutinizing, and there's got to be more to this story.
There has to be. There has to be more to the story.
Judy allows me to play with the Frolicat bundles between the commercial breaks here in the studio. This is one of my favorite pastimes. The cats want to play with it, and even the dog wants to play with it, but I ultimately turn off the lights in the studio and play with the little laser toys and have lots of fun.
I said that last week, that they need to instead of marketing this for cats and dogs, market it for us, because what we know with our small brains here, we find it more amusing, I think, than the pets.
We welcome back Alan Cook. He is the top cat over at Brilliant Pet, and he also is the mastermind behind some of these great toys for our cats. Hey, Alan, how you doing?
Doing fantastic. How are you?
Oh, splendid, thank you. I see that there's some brand new toys that you're adding to the Frolicat line, and I wanted to be the first to announce them and show them off and maybe even give a couple away to listeners today. The Frolicat Pounce, I understand, is brand new. It's coming out now. I saw these at the trade show last year, a sneak peek of them. They are some of the most beautiful toys.
That's right. They are, beautiful objects that you'd be proud to leave out on display when your buddies come over, and they happen to be some of the world's greatest and most fun pet toys. Pounce has a really cool mouse that we call Marshall that moves around in a circular path forwards and backwards, and there's different places for him to hide. So sometimes your cat could see him, and sometimes he can't, and it kind of entices the cat and engages him in a very in a physical way where they can stop, they can stalk, and, of course, pounce on the mouse.
Okay, and this is not the only new addition to the Frolicat line, though, is it?
No, we did some great updates to our laser toys, like the Frolicat Bolt and Dart are the automatic laser toys that randomly generate patterns for your animal to chase after. And we added a new item to the Dart family called Dart Duo.
Ooh.
And we saw, animals playing with the toy and sometimes playing together. And we said if one laser is good, two lasers are great. So we added a second laser so two animals can play with Dart Duo at the same time.
So I could play and the cat can play at the same time.
Finally, Hal.
It's totally adjustable. You can control how fast or slow the lasers move. It's got a timer that'll automatically turn off. And you can choose if that's after 5, 10, 15, or 20 minutes. And it even folds up for easy storage.
You're actually some sort of cool madman. You could design one, though, that's like, instead of just a laser, it's a picture of a beer can, and it would be a toy for guys, where it just moves around on the wall, and the guy gets out of his chair and he chases after it.
Yeah, finally get your old man to exercise.
We kill so much productivity as it is because, we can chase after these lasers all day long. If we had the virtual bear thing, I don't think anything would get done for the rest of the week.
I'm thinking so. Coming out this summer, the Frolicat Flick. Now, what's this all about? I have not seen this one yet.
Now, Flick won all sorts of great awards at Super Zoo in Las Vegas. And this toy, when it comes out later this year, it's got a string that it flicks out. The string appears, and then the string disappears. So you get this cool white disc you can set on the floor or on a table, and coming out of the toy is a retractable string.
Let's go ahead and give away a Frolicat bundle out if we can at 1-866-405-8405. Now, if you're not lucky enough to get through, write down this website, frolicat.com. That's F-R-O-L-I, cat.com. And, of course, we put links to everything you've heard on today's show over in Animal Radio. Good stuff, Alan.
Thank you so much, guys.
Alan Cook joining us. We'll head back to the phones next right here at 1-866-405-8405.
I said enough! Hey gang, this is the Money Man, Eddie Money. Make sure you spay your pets and keep the dial right here to Animal Radio. It's the greatest station in the world.
you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
I just downloaded the app myself. It's not bad. It's a pretty cool app.
I have it on my phone.
Do you have it on your phone? How about you, Alan? Do you have the Animal Radio app yet? You don't even have a smartphone.
I have it on my I have it on my refrigerator. I don't have a smartphone. I have a dumb phone. This is quite an empire you've built here, Hal. You built an empire.
I actually didn't do it. I got to tell you, it's really Boog and Ladybug, the studio stunt animals, that have built this empire. And they really dictate what we do around here at Animal Radio.
That's how I listen to the show. I listen to the show from my app in the car or all the time because I can't listen to it live, obviously, because we're doing it. But, yeah, that's how I listen to it.
All right, can I just say, I think it's all Judy. I think Judy is the master, the power, the strategy, the influence. She is the backbone of this show. And Hal, I don't think you give her enough credit. Did you apologize to her for last week's behavior?
Oh, yeah, did I apologize?
He's still apologizing.
I'm down on my knees right now apologizing.
Very nice.
You didn't notice all the butt kissing going on today?
A lot of
butt
anyone
kissing. That I mean, when we go to our little breaks, I guess, Hal had said something to Judy that she didn't like too well, and she showed him who's the boss of the studio here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, as a radio talent, sometimes I get a little cocky. Because I think most radio talents get cocky, right? What?
Yes, they do.
Oh, what? What? You never get cocky, Alan?
Man. That's funny. Well, that's like a dishwasher getting cocky.
Well, let's see here.
It's time to play a game, Dr. Debbie.
What kind of game?
The game is called...
I'm very nervous about this. I don't know what it is.
The game is called... I search every week for things that I think will pique your interest and excite you. And this game is called Will This Excite Dr. Debbie? Okay, we'll take votes right now from Hal and Judy. Okay. Will this excite Dr. Debbie? I already told you what it was. It was that Strange Obsession show on TLC, and I'm betting one of the stories I saw will get Dr. Debbie very piqued.
Oh, the one you were talking about earlier?
Yes.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say won't.
Okay.
Won't even phase her.
Hal's saying no.
I was dialing phones. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Judy doesn't know what we're talking about. She says no. Dr. Debbie, there's a show on TLC called My Strange Obsession that I check in with every now and then, and there was this lady on there, and her strange obsession is bee stings. She stings herself every day with bees. And she stings herself 15 times a day. She's stung herself over 50,000 times. And this gives her much pleasure.
That's weird, is what that is.
Wow.
That is just downright weird. That sounds like you're making this crap up. That's what I'm going to tell you.
I'm not making it up. You go on the internet when we're done and check it out. She is just so bizarre.
I don't know what to say to that. So I don't know that it gets me excited. It makes me awestruck. I just can't believe it. No.
She makes her. How about the rat lady that has the 19 rats and loves the rats more than her family and has moved into a separate apartment because her husband doesn't like the rats?
You know what? I did see that, but I do have clients that love their rats, have oodles of them, and I can understand that one a little bit more in kind of a little different way.
Can I just say that sounds like a really good soup? Oodles of rats. I love that.
Campbell's oodles of rats.
Chunky.
All right, I will continue searching. My quest continues for Will That Excite Dr. Debbie? When I talk to you and I listen to you talk about creepy stuff, like creepy crawly stuff, like it's matter of fact, I get this vision in my head of you in the kitchen, like a mad scientist concocting all kinds of exotic dishes on things that you find in pets and then testing them out on a cracker.
You know what? I probably have unintentionally done that. Okay, Alan, I'll tell you what got me excited today. And this is going to be kind of more along my line of things. Okay? So we had a dog that got horribly ill with a GI illness. Diarrhea, vomiting, just really on death's door. And it was giving me a lot of frustration trying to figure this out until it came up that the other dogs in the home all got sick too, but they recovered. And this all happened after the dog ate some chicken from one of the grocery stores nearby. Oh. So today, the dog is doing great, and she's responding to therapy, but we got the culture back, and she has Campylobacter, which is a infection people and animals can get from infected food items. So I was so excited about that. And
That's very exciting.
I guess you're not.
Yes. No, that is exciting, but that's a different excitement for you. Like, you're excited by success in your practice, but you're also excited by gross stuff. So that's my angle. That's
diarrhea.
What I'm
it's
for.
exciting. You know, it's just. I think it's just intriguing. Anyways.
Is it on your coffee table? Is it hardened on your coffee table?
See, while you have your gloves on there, Doc, can you check Boog's teeth? Tell me what you think. These things got to be cleaned.
What do you mean she never takes the gloves off?
You do not brush his teeth, do you? So, yes, he needs some dental care.
Well, you know what? I thought that I'd get them done, get the teeth done, and then I would brush every day after that. But and I love the little guy dearly. I give him medicine Judy gives him medicine every day. And we, but I can't see putting a toothbrush in his mouth every day. I don't know how he's going to ever like that. So it's tough to, and I know there's other people that agree with me on this. Do you really expect your clients to put a toothbrush in their mouth every single day?
Yeah.
Cats can be difficult. You can train them, but you got to do this when they're young. You really got to get on board with this and embrace this when they're puppies and kittens. That's the most successful way to do it. But you know what? I just saw one of my old neighbors came in with her Shih Tzu yesterday, and the dog is, I think, 8 years old. Never had a dental cleaning. She brushes their teeth religiously every night before bed.
That's a big dog now.
Shih Tzu, little dog.
Like
okay.
Little dog.
15 pounds.
Okay.
15 pounds with an underbite. That dog's teeth were gorgeous. Beautiful. I would never have known that he had never had a dental cleaning. So you can make a huge difference in your pet's care preventatively by just brushing teeth, really.
Hal doesn't even brush his teeth every day. He's not going to do it.
That's really not necessary. That's not necessary, Judy. So this little red line right between the teeth and the gums on my teeth, of course, my gums, that's gingivitis, right? That's
yes.
That's a wonderful thing.
That's all we have time for today. I want to thank Victoria Stilwell, Dr. Ron Hines for joining us, and especially you for joining us. Remember, you can get more Animal Radio all week long at animalradio.com. Download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android right now. Before you forget, do it now. I can wait. Well, actually, I'll let you do it on your own, but it's a free app. Get it, and you can ask your questions right from the app. Have yourself a great week. We'll see you next week for more Animal Radio.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care. See you next week. Same place.
This is Animal Radio Network.